Yakiparawa anna yasitera kiwate yamarako utu yasitoa. Greetings, namaste, beloved ones, whenever you may be reaching or hearing these words. Today we are going to share about negative entities and their influence on us. So this is something that we don't often speak of, but as the remembrance expands and as our ability to perceive more and more of what is and in manifestation on the physicalness playground, more and more we begin to see all of the potentials of the light and all of the potentials of what we call the dark. And so when we use the term negative entities here, we're going to expand the definition of that in a way that can be explained by polarity. And so most of what we share here, everything that we share, comes from non-dual, non-polarized, non-awareness, non-teaching into the relative reality. And so in polarity, which is in the relative reality, we have positive, negative, like a magnet. We have male, female, we have up, down, hot, cold, here, there, all of these. They only exist in the duality, the relative reality, the dream. But the dream and the relative reality are very real to the being in the dream. And that's how it's designed. And so within the dream, we have the poles of positive and negative. This is not what we could call that good, bad, male, female, up, down, here, there. But what we term negative entities are the aspect of the negative energy. Again, we're not using negative in terms of good, bad in this scenario, in this what we're sharing. We're using negative as the energy that pulls, and positive is the energy that pushes. We could use this example. And so energy is neither good nor bad, here nor there. It simply is. But what we call negative energies, or negative entities, as we've called here, are the aspects of self that pull us into the dark, pull us into the soil, pull us into the parts of ourself, the parts of the self, the parts of the human self, the parts of the earth that are not comfortable, that can manifest as hurtful, as harmful, as controlling, as manipulative. They pull us into the depths, into the deep recesses of the soul, the deep recesses of the being that are usually hidden, that are usually unseen and unheard, but experienced. So what we call negative entities or this negative energy manifests in the world in so many different ways. You can see war, you can see lack, limitation, hurt, fear, anger. And these can, like in any physical manifestation, these can have physicalized manifestations. This energy, this negative energy, again, we're not calling it bad, we're just saying negative energy can manifest as an entity, as a being. And it can manifest in whatever way works for the individual, whatever way works to pull us into the depths, to see what is possible, to pull the being into the knowing of more of what is potential in polarity, which is infinite. And it can manifest as beings, as physicalizations, as demons, as devils, as Luciferian, as demonic, all of these things. How anything manifests, important is who are you that whatever is manifesting in front of, who are you in relationship to that? we could say it if we swing it to the other polarity. So the positive polarity, if we'd say some like the positive energy, something that pushes us or lifts us or expands us or takes us to a higher aspect of our being, that can manifest as an amazing master or a teacher or something that inspires you. It can be nature, it could be the stars, it can be the sun, and that pulls you, or sorry, it pushes you, it expands you, it lifts you, whereas negative energy pulls you inward, takes you downward, takes you. Again, we're not saying that these are one's better than the other. They're just different poles of the same thing. But what is important is, who am I in relationship to negative entities or positive entities, positive energy or negative energy appearing in my dream, appearing in my experience, appearing in my relative reality. And again, not when I use the word dream or illusion, it's not to diminish the experience, it's not to deny it from absolute reality. There is only absolute reality. But when we talk about the dream or illusion, it's to begin to see we are the one that sees. We are the one that sees positive, negative. We are the one that sees up and down, that feels and cold. But we are not bound by it. We are not defined by it. And so, giving that definition now of positive and negative, I want to talk about the influence that these negative entities or negative energies can have on us. So, in this dimension, these negative entities or negative energy don't have, because of, by their definition, this energy to pull us into the negative, to pull us into the darkness. It has to feel separate from its source. It has to feel separate from who it is. You have to forget who you are to go into the negative, to remember that we are neither negative or positive. So these energies are like parasitic energies. These entities are parasitic. They don't have manifestation power on their own. They don't have the ability to create. So what they do is they parasite, they leech, they latch on to certain energies. And so what the negative energies or negative entities do, again, just every time I use this, we're not saying bad, we're just saying it's one polarity, because, and you'll see the reason why, as soon as we say bad, evil, dark, power, we feed, so this energy feeds on other energy, and what it feeds on is what we call lower energy. So bad, evil, anger, fear, these are the food for these negative energies. They feed on that. It is their only source of sustenance, because they, I'm just going to say they, again, relatively speaking, believe that they are separate from their source, and their only means of continuing for themselves is to, by which they suck the life energy from others that they believe they're separate from. And so all of us, to some degree, will have some experience of this. Whenever we feel fear, anger, loss, lack, this negative energy or these negative entities, that is like a banquet to them. That is their best. That is their food. That is the ultimate food for this energy. And so again, but we want the influence that this can have. We have to. It's an energy bringing us the and it feeds on. And so the influence. So basically, what happens a lot of times, the extreme. This would be like a dramatic movie, but there's various ways in which this can happen. And how perfect. Every time. Every time. Every time we talk about these little rascals, the connection drops. I've live streamed here many times and it's never disconnected, and now it disconnects. So this is just, again, a perfect. I don't know if this will record, whether it does, it doesn't matter to me. So okay, I'm going to make it as quick as possible now if this is still recording. This negative energy feeds on the lower energies of fear, anger, judgment, because it doesn't have the ability to nourish itself on its resource itself, because it believes it's separate from itself. So all of us will have had the experience at certain times where we feel like an emotion, lower energy, seems to overtake us. We say something we don't want. We do something that we would not normally do. We get angry. We get frustrated. We act in a way that is not, our normal natural state of being, let's say. And so what happens is we all have tendencies. We all filled with the history and the deep. Oh my God, it keeps disconnecting. So if this is recording, I will continue to say it just for this one. And so all of those energies and all of those potentials within humanity's DNA and our star being DNA includes all of the potentials for war, for fear, for lack, for limitation, for judgment. And so what happens is whenever we find ourselves in a moment where, let's just say, anger appears, what happens in that moment is a door opens. So two ways. These energies can influence everyone. They can try to influence through thought, through emotion, entering like little potentials. But it can't control us, but it can influence in a way. It can implant a negative thought, but only we can act on that. It can implant a bit of frustration or a little bit of annoyance, and it can work through another to poke at something that touches us in a strong way. So it influences subversively. It influences. Not, it's not overt, although in the past few years it is becoming more and more overt. It's becoming more and more seen, but by the vast majority, it's covertly or under the surface, and it just works through lower energy thought, lower energy emotion, and then we have the choice whether we act that out or not. So I'm going to have to keep it short here because it keeps disconnecting. You little rascals, you love when we talk about you, don't we? And we love you. Thank you for playing your role. So what is important is to not bypass in any way, but notice that whenever lower energies enter our field, we have a choice to interact with them and act them out and play them out with another, or we can choose to notice it and don't react. Notice it and just let it be. Anger's appearing. Okay, I don't need to do anything with that. Anger can be here and move through. I don't need to give it voice. I don't need to act it out. Frustration is here. Judgment is here. Lack is here. Okay, it's here. Because the second that we react and interact with this energy, boom, you got dinner. These lush is another word for it. These negative entities feed on this, and once we 144 this and generally that can be a self-destructive, so it's inner anger or inner frustration or inner judgment with ourselves, but a lot of times it's outer. We judge someone else, we get angry with someone else, we get frustrated with someone on the road, whatever it happens to be, and the second another being is pulled into that, then it's like extravaganza, because then you got a double. It's not a doubling, it's an exponential expansion of anger. And so divide and rule on the planet works because of this. All of the wars work because of this. Wars are manifestation of this negative energy dividing and rule people unconsciously, a lot of times, siding with good and evil, are pulled in, and humanity manifests wars by forgetting who we are and engaging in wrong and right, engaging in judgment. Wars manifest on the earth plane because of humans not remembering who they are and allowing a few who believe they know who they are, but they actually don't. They believe they're separate. They believe they need others' energy. So there's humans that will manifest that, but they're being influenced by this energy. And again, it's not about it bypassing. It's not like we are powerless. We are the only power. So we're not blaming negative energy or trying to get positive energy. We are the only power. The only power the governments that bomb innocent children have is the power we give them. The only power politicians have is the power we give them. The only power that these negative entities and energies have is the power we give them. We give them power. They have none. They are part of the whole, but they have dreamed a separation philosophy into their being, that they believe they're separate, and because they believe they're separate from their source, they don't have a source of creativity, they don't have a source of sustenance, so that they have to be a leech, a parasite. And so you can see the warmongers on the planets are leeches and parasites and full of fear, and they're being influenced by the separation-based philosophy. They forget who they are, and what they do is they want to suck energy from others. And you see that in war, but you see that in just a disagreement on the street. So the Little Rascals have let this go on for a while. So I don't even know if this will record. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It disconnected loads of times as soon as I really got to the crunch of it. Maybe I'll do it some more when we were in a different place, but it never disconnected before. So negative entities, how do they influence us? They influence us through sucking energy of lower vibration by waiting for a moment in which we're feeling tired, stressed, we're feeling a little bit, we forget who we are, and using that moment to implant thoughts, implant feelings, give potential. Again, it's not control. Don't give it more power than it has. It has none. So don't give it any more than it has. It does have the ability to put thought forms in your potential field where there's infinite potential. So this energy can have the potential of a limiting, fearful, angry thought. It can have the possibility for feeling or emotion of lower energy. But we have the only power. It has no power. It's like playing roulette. It's playing like a slot machine. I'm going to throw out all of these thought forms and let's see if one of these is going to feed me today. Now, there are moments when we will get lost, all of us. There are moments when we will fall into that. That's okay. The influence that it has on us depends on remembering who we are as quickly as possible and coming back to who we are and no longer feeding this energy. And to balance it up, I want to this whole experiment, this whole game on Earth is based on this. So we have to not demonize and say that this energy is bad and evil. It's giving us a potential to choose who we are or not. I'm going to leave it there. Keep it under 20 minutes. Okay. The only power is within us. We are the power. We are the source. Resource yourself. Don't judge yourself if you fall into these potentials. It's set up so covertly and so subversively that it's set up that way. Just whenever you remember, choose again. Choose to be yourself. Resource yourself. I am. I know who I am. I love you all so much. Until next time. From my heart to yours, the divine in me sees, honors, and loves the divine in you. Namaste. We